The research vessel Galactic Seeker emerged from hyperspace at the edges of an unremarkable solar system, its crystalline hull refracting the light of a yellow dwarf star. Captain Zixtal stood on the bridge, her bioluminescent patches pulsing with scientific curiosity as she studied the third planet through the ship's quantum imaging array. "Impossible," she whispered, her translator converting the thought patterns into standard galactic basic. "Senior researcher Valner, please verify these readings." Valner, a towering figure whose silicon-based body sparkled under the bridge lights, moved his processing clusters closer to the sensor displays. "Confirmed, Captain. Despite all known laws of xenobiology, we're detecting signs of advanced civilization on a Class 15 death world." The bridge crew fell silent, their various appendages and sensory organs focused on the blue-white planet spinning below them. Earth, as its inhabitants called it, should not have been capable of supporting complex life, let alone an intelligent species. Its gravity was crushing, its atmosphere a volatile mix of reactive gases, and its temperature variations would shatter most known forms of life. More fascinating still, Valnor continued, his crystalline form vibrating with excitement. They appear to be responding to something. Something massive. Captain Zixtal expanded her sensory field, absorbing data directly through her neural interfaces. The humans, as they called themselves, were indeed in a state of unprecedented activity. Their primitive but impressive network of satellites and orbital stations buzzed with energy, all focused on a singular threat approaching from their star. "Magnify Sector 7, she ordered, her bioluminescence shifting to a deeper shade of concern. The holographic display expanded, revealing the source of human anxiety. A massive solar storm, unlike anything their research vessel had recorded in centuries of exploration. Solar ejection measuring at least 30 times their standard unit of measurement, reported junior researcher Kell, her gaseous form swirling with agitation. The electromagnetic pulse alone would devastate most civilizations at their technological level. The radiation surge that follows." She left the grim implication unspoken. Captain Zixtal watched as the humans' global communication networks lit up with activity. Instead of the expected panic and chaos, she observed something unprecedented. Their various nation-states, typically fragmented by political and ideological differences, were rapidly consolidating their responses. "They've detected it," Valnor noted, his crystalline surface refracting light in patterns of amazement. "Their primitive instruments shouldn't be capable of such early warning, yet they're already mobilizing. Look at their power grids. They're redistributing energy on a global scale." The bridge crew observed in fascination as humans around the planet began an impossible task. Despite their limited technology, they were attempting to create a planetary shield using their existing satellite network and power infrastructure. It was the equivalent of trying to build a fortress with sticks and stones against an approaching tsunami. "They're theoretical scientists," Kell reported, her gaseous form condensing with interest. "They're proposing solutions that violate their own understood laws of physics. Yet, their mathematical models suggest a non-zero probability of success." Captain Zixtal made a decision that would challenge every protocol in the Galactic Research Council's handbook. "Begin full spectrum monitoring," she ordered. "I want every detail recorded. We're about to witness either the end of a species or something unprecedented in galactic history." As the Galactic Seeker's cloaked form orbited silently above Earth, its crew watched humanity begin an impossible task with nothing but determination, ingenuity, and their primitive technology as tools. The solar storm approached relentlessly, its massive front of charged particles and radiation promising devastation on a scale that would render most planets uninhabitable. Yet the humans worked on, their global networks humming with shared data, their factories running at impossible capacities, their scientists proposing theories that should have been beyond their understanding. They were about to demonstrate why Deathworlders were the galaxy's greatest anomaly, and perhaps its greatest hope. "Maintain position," Captain Zixtal ordered, her bioluminescence pulsing with anticipation. The real test of these impossible humans is about to begin. Valnor's crystalline form vibrated with increasing intensity as he processed the incoming data streams. The human's response to the approaching solar storm defied every predictive model in the Galactic Seeker's vast databases. "Captain," he called out, his silicon-based structure refracting light in patterns of disbelief. "They're converting their entire orbital defense network into what appears to be a makeshift electromagnetic shield. The power requirements alone should make this impossible for their technology level." Captain Zixtel moved closer to the quantum imaging array, her bioluminescent patches pulsing rapidly as she observed the human activity. Across the planet, power plants were being modified beyond their design specifications. Nuclear reactors, solar farms, and even primitive fossil fuel facilities were being linked into a single massive power grid. "Their engineers are working in conditions that should kill them," reported junior researcher Kell, her gaseous form condensing with concern. "The electromagnetic radiation in their power facilities has exceeded safe levels by several orders of magnitude. Yet they continue." The holographic displays showed humans working in environments that would be considered torture by most galactic species. Engineers stayed in radioactive zones protected only by primitive protective suits, their bodies already showing signs of radiation exposure. Yet they worked on, modifying their power infrastructure with desperate innovation. "Look at their orbital operations," Valnor indicated, directing attention to the space around Earth. Human astronauts were conducting spacewalks in suits that the Galactic Seeker's safety protocols would classify as little more than tissue paper. They were physically manipulating satellites, redirecting solar panels, and installing makeshift radiation shields with their bare hands. "They're theoretical physicists," Kell reported, her form swirling with excitement. "They're proposing something unprecedented. They're attempting to create a resonance field between their planet's magnetic core and their satellite network. It's brilliant in its insanity." The bridge crew watched as humans around the world implemented their desperate plan. In massive underground facilities, teams of scientists worked without rest, their bodies sustained by primitive stimulants as they calculated field equations that pushed the boundaries of their understanding. In orbit, astronauts manually adjusted thousands of satellites, creating a web of interconnected electromagnetic fields. "Energy readings from their power grid are exceeding our theoretical models," Valnor noted, his crystalline surface pulsing with data patterns. "They're pushing their technology far beyond its design capabilities. By our calculations, their systems should be failing catastrophically." But the systems didn't fail. Through methods that violated the Galactic Seeker's understanding of physics, the humans kept their overtaxed power grid functioning. When components burned out, they were replaced with improvised solutions. When computer systems crashed, humans took over calculations manually. "Their global communication networks are saturated with technical data," Kell observed. "Every nation is sharing their research, their resources, their technology. They're achieving in hours what should take decades of cooperation." Captain Zixtel watched as humans in what they called mission control centers coordinated the global effort. Their faces showed extreme fatigue, their bodies were pushed to their biological limits, but their determination never wavered. They were attempting to create a planetary shield that, by all known laws of physics, should be impossible with their level of technology. New data from their polar regions, Valnor reported. They're using their planet's natural magnetic field lines to amplify their shield effect. The calculations required for this level of magnetic manipulation should be beyond their computational capabilities. Yet the humans were doing it, not through advanced technology, but through a combination of scientific intuition, desperate innovation, and sheer determination. They were rewriting the rules of what their primitive technology could achieve, evolving their capabilities in real time. "The storm front will reach their outer satellites in 6 hours," Kell announced, her gaseous form swirling with nervous energy. "Their shield network is only at 60% of their targeted capacity." Captain Zixtel felt her bioluminescent patches pulse with an emotion she hadn't experienced in centuries of exploration. Hope. These humans, these impossible Deathworlders, were attempting something that would revolutionize the galaxy's understanding of what was possible. "Continue monitoring all frequencies," she ordered. "The real test of their shield is about to begin, and every moment must be recorded. The Galactic Research Council needs to understand what we're witnessing here, the birth of something unprecedented in our scientific history." Junior researcher Kell's gaseous form churned with agitation as the first wave of the solar storm struck Earth's outer satellite network. The human-made shield, a desperate combination of repurposed technology and innovative physics, flared to life against the assault of charged particles. Impossible. Valinor's crystalline structure pulsed with data patterns of disbelief. Their shield is holding. The energy dispersion patterns. They're actually using the storm's own energy to reinforce their defensive field. Captain Zixtal expanded her sensory field, directly absorbing the stream of data from the Galactic Seeker's quantum sensors. The humans had done something unprecedented. They'd created a self-reinforcing electromagnetic field by linking their planet's natural magnetosphere with their crude satellite network. Their power grid is operating at 200% of maximum theoretical capacity, Kell reported, her gaseous form swirling frantically. The heat buildup in their facilities should be melting their equipment, yet they're maintaining stability. The holographic displays showed scenes from around the planet that defied explanation. In power plants across Earth, humans worked in temperatures that would kill most species in the galaxy. Their primitive cooling systems had failed hours ago, but they'd adapted, using their planet's water bodies as makeshift heat sinks. "Look at their orbital teams," Valnor indicated, his crystalline surface refracting light in patterns of amazement. "They're manually adjusting satellite alignments during the storm. The radiation exposure they're enduring." The bridge crew watched as human astronauts performed what should have been impossible spacewalks. Their suits' radiation sensors had long since maxed out, but they continued their work, physically repositioning satellites to strengthen weak points in the shield network. "New data from their equatorial facilities," Kell announced. They're using the excess heat from their power grid to create atmospheric convection currents. They're turning their entire atmosphere into a secondary defense layer. Captain Zixtal observed as humans demonstrated why they were the galaxy's most remarkable anomaly. In massive facilities near their planet's equator, engineers had discovered that the extreme heat from their overtaxed power systems could be used to create artificial atmospheric currents. These currents, when properly directed, could help deflect and disperse the solar storm's energy. "Their scientists are still innovating," Valnor noted with astonishment. "Look at these new equations being shared across their networks. They're developing entirely new theories of electromagnetic field manipulation while under attack." The human scientific community had abandoned traditional research protocols. Theories were proposed, tested, and implemented in hours rather than years. When computer simulations failed, they relied on intuition and rapid experimentation. They were rewriting their understanding of physics in real time. "Energy spike detected in the storm front," Kell warned, her form condensing with concern. "A concentrated plasma burst is approaching their northern shield sector. Their systems can't possibly." The bridge crew watched as humans once again defied their expectations. Ground teams had anticipated the plasma burst and were already implementing countermeasures. In facilities across the planet's northern regions, they deliberately overloaded power stations in a controlled sequence, creating a rolling wave of electromagnetic pulses that strengthened their shield just as the plasma struck. The coordination required for that response. Valnor's crystalline structure vibrated with excitement. Their reaction time shouldn't allow for such precision. They're operating on pure instinct combined with their experience. Captain Zixtal felt her bioluminescent patches pulse with deep respect as she watched humans demonstrate their true strength. They weren't just surviving despite their primitive technology. They were turning their limitations into advantages. Their lack of advanced automation had forced them to develop incredible adaptability and intuition. "Multiple shield breaches detected," Kell reported urgently. "The storm is finding weak points in their network." "But Captain," You need to see their response. The holographic displays showed humans rushing toward the dangers rather than away from them. Emergency teams moved into radiation-flooded zones to repair crucial equipment. Engineers manually vented overloading power stations, exposing themselves to lethal conditions to prevent catastrophic failures. They're not just maintaining their shield, Valnor observed, his crystalline form pulsing with revelation. They're learning from each breach, each failure. Look at how they're adapting their power distribution network in real time. The Galactic Seeker's sensors recorded as humanity demonstrated why they had survived and thrived on their Deathworld. Every crisis was met with innovation, every failure led to adaptation, and every impossible challenge was faced with unwavering determination. The main body of the storm will reach them in 2 hours, Kel announced, her gaseous form swirling with a mixture of fear and anticipation. Their shield network is operating far beyond what should be possible, but the worst is yet to come. Captain Zixtal watched as humans across the planet prepared for their greatest test. They had already redefined what their technology could achieve. Now they would show the galaxy whether the impossible was truly beyond their reach. The main body of the solar storm descended upon Earth like a cosmic hammer, its intensity exceeding even the Galactic Seeker's most pessimistic predictions. Captain Zixtal watched through the quantum imaging array as humanity faced what should have been their final moment. Shield integrity failing in multiple sectors, Kel reported, her gaseous form turbulent with anxiety. The energy readings are beyond anything their technology should be able to handle. Their power grid is reaching critical levels. Yet, instead of collapse, the aliens witnessed something extraordinary. Across the planet, humans implemented what they called Operation Thunderbreak, a plan so desperate it bordered on madness. They're redirecting their entire planetary power grid through their orbital network, Valnor observed, his crystalline structure vibrating with disbelief. The energy transfer alone should vaporize their satellites. Their calculations, they can't possibly. But the humans had understood something that their advanced alien observers had missed. They weren't trying to block the storm. They were trying to dance with it. Their shield network began to pulse in rhythm with the storm's energy waves, creating a complex pattern of electromagnetic resonance. Analysis of their new shield configuration, Kel announced, her form swirling with amazement. They're not just defending anymore. They're using the storm's own energy to strengthen their shield. It's beautiful in its simplicity. The price of this innovation was steep. Across Earth, power stations burned out in carefully calculated sequences. Each failure was predetermined, sacrificed to maintain the resonance pattern. The humans had turned their infrastructure's destruction into a weapon against the storm. Their orbital crews, Valnor noted, his crystalline surface refracting light in patterns of shock. They're manually adjusting the resonance frequencies. In their suits, during a solar storm, the radiation exposure they're enduring. The bridge crew watched as human astronauts performed what should have been suicide missions. Protected only by their primitive spacesuits, they moved between satellites, physically adjusting equipment that their remote systems could no longer control. Many knew they were receiving fatal radiation doses, yet they continued their work. Ground teams are implementing the Prometheus Protocol, Kel reported, her gaseous form condensing with concern. They're intentionally overloading their nuclear facilities to create electromagnetic pulses that reinforce their shield pattern. Captain Zixtal observed as humans demonstrated a level of sacrifice that challenged her understanding of sentient behavior. Engineers stayed in lethal radiation zones, manually controlling their reactors' overload sequences. When their protective suits failed, they continued working, their bodies absorbing doses that guaranteed a painful death. New radiation spike approaching, Valnor warned, his crystalline structure pulsing with urgent data patterns. Their shield resonance is destabilizing. They can't possibly maintain. The response from Earth's surface silenced the alien observers. In every major city, humans had prepared for this moment. They initiated a global blackout, shutting down every non-essential system. The power saved was redirected to their shield network, but the consequences were immediate and severe. Their medical facilities are operating on emergency power, Kell noted, her form swirling with a mixture of horror and admiration. Life support systems, critical care units, they're all running on minimal power. They're literally choosing between their present survival and their future. Yet even in darkness, humanity's determination burned bright. Communities organized to support their vulnerable members. People shared resources, provided manual assistance where machines had failed, and maintained order without being told to do so. Their orbital stations are taking significant damage, Valnor reported, his crystalline surface dimming with concern. But look at their response patterns. They're deliberately sacrificing outer layers of satellites to protect their inner shield matrix. The Galactic Seeker's sensors recorded as humanity demonstrated why they had become the galaxy's greatest paradox. They combined strategic sacrifice with desperate innovation, turning their weaknesses into strengths. Each loss was calculated, each failure integrated into their defense. Something's happening in their Antarctic research station, Kell announced suddenly. They're attempting to create an artificial magnetic pole reversal. The energy requirements alone. Captain Zixtal felt her bioluminescent patches pulse with an emotion beyond amazement as she watched the humans implement their final gambit. They were attempting to temporarily shift their planet's magnetic field, using the concentrated power of their entire civilization in one desperate move. If they fail, Valnor observed, his crystalline structure vibrating with tension, they'll lose everything. Their power grid, their shield network, possibly their planet's natural magnetic field itself. The bridge crew fell silent as humanity faced their moment of truth. The storm's peak intensity approached just as they initiated their magnetic shift procedure. They had pushed their technology far beyond its limits, sacrificed countless lives, and were now risking their planet's fundamental protection system on one final desperate gamble. Impact in 30 seconds. Kell announced, her gaseous form nearly still with tension. Their magnetic field is fluctuating. The readings are. Captain Zixtal watched as humans prepared to show the galaxy whether the impossible was truly beyond their reach. The Galactic Seeker's sensors struggled to process the cascade of events unfolding around Earth. The humans' desperate attempt to shift their planetary magnetic field coincided perfectly with the solar storm's peak intensity, creating a phenomenon that defied known physics. Magnetic field shift successful, Kell announced, her gaseous form pulsating with amazement. They've created a temporary electromagnetic vortex. The storm's energy, it's being channeled through their shield network in a way that... Impossible, Valnor interrupted, his crystalline structure vibrating with intensity as he processed the data. They're not just deflecting the storm, they're harnessing it. Their shield network is acting as a planetary-scale energy conversion system. Captain Zixtal watched as humanity proved once again why they were the galaxy's greatest anomaly. The combined power of their civilization, channeled through their jury-rigged shield network and synchronized with their planet's temporarily shifted magnetic field, had created something entirely new, a self-sustaining energy conversion barrier. The storm's radiation, Kell reported, her form swirling with excitement, it's being converted into electromagnetic energy that's actually strengthening their shield. The more intense the storm becomes, the stronger their defenses grow. It's an elegant solution that shouldn't be possible with their technology level. Across Earth's surface, power stations that had been on the brink of catastrophic failure began to stabilize. The humans' desperate gamble had paid off in ways even they hadn't fully anticipated. Their shield wasn't just protecting them. It was powering itself using the very force that threatened to destroy them. Their orbital crews are regaining control of the satellite network, Valnor observed, his crystalline surface refracting light in patterns of respect. Even with their fatal radiation exposure, they're completing the final adjustments to optimize the energy conversion process. The bridge crew watched as humans demonstrated their true strength, not just their ability to survive against impossible odds, but their capacity to turn those very odds into advantages. Emergency teams moved with practiced precision to rescue endangered colleagues. Engineers worked to stabilize their newfound energy conversion system, already looking for ways to preserve and improve it. Their scientific networks are overwhelmed with data, Kell noted, her gaseous form rippling with interest. They're already analyzing what they've accomplished, theorizing applications beyond planetary defense. In the middle of a crisis, they're planning for the future. Captain Zixtel felt her bioluminescent patches pulse with deep revelation as she studied the humans' response to their success. They hadn't stopped at mere survival. Even as their medical teams rushed to treat the injured and their engineers fought to stabilize their power grid, their scientists were already documenting and expanding upon their discoveries. The storm is beginning to dissipate, Valnor reported, his crystalline structure pulsing with new data patterns. Their shield network is maintaining stability. The energy conversion process continues to function at peak efficiency. They've done it, Captain. They've actually done it. But the true magnitude of humanity's achievement wasn't just in their survival. In less than a week, they had advanced their understanding of physics, revolutionized their energy technology, and demonstrated a level of global cooperation that most civilizations never achieved, even with centuries of development. Final casualty reports coming in, Kell announced solemnly, her form swirling slowly. The human cost was significant. Yet look at their communication networks. They're already establishing memorials while simultaneously planning improvements to their planetary defense systems. The quantum imaging array showed scenes from across Earth as humanity began to recover. Cities gradually restored power, medical teams worked tirelessly to treat the injured, and engineers began the process of adapting their emergency shield network into a permanent planetary defense system. Captain, Valnor said, his crystalline structure vibrating with urgency, the Galactic Research Council needs to know what we've witnessed here. These humans, they've done more than survive a catastrophe. They've revolutionized their civilization in the process. Captain Zixtel studied the planet below, her bioluminescent patches pulsing with an emotion that transcended mere admiration. The humans had proven themselves to be something unique in the galaxy, a species that didn't just adapt to survive, but one that evolved through crisis, turning their greatest challenges into catalysts for advancement. Prepare a full report for the Council, she ordered, her patches glowing with determination. They need to understand what these Deathworlders have shown us, the galaxy's assumptions about technological development, about the limits of possibility. Everything must be reconsidered. As the Galactic Seeker prepared to depart, its crew took one final look at the impossible planet below. Earth's new shield shimmered with converted solar energy, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. They had not merely survived, they had emerged stronger, more unified, and with technologies that would reshape their future. The humans would never know they had been watched, never know that their response to crisis had shaken the foundations of galactic understanding. But as the alien vessel slipped back into hyperspace, they had proven something profound. In the face of impossible odds, humanity's greatest strength wasn't just their ability to survive, but their power to transform the very meaning of possible.